The early 2000s were a fun time for football, weren't they? We're going to find out in FM21. Hello and welcome to a brand new, very short series that we are going to do. We're going to do one season in the Mad Scientist 2001-2002 Football Manger 21 database. 20 years old, effectively. We are going 20 years back in time. If you want to download this database yourself, I'll put links for this in the description. You can find it in the Steam Workshop. It's really easy to find. It's actually one of the most subscribed databases anyway. But yes, we are going to be in charge of my team, Southampton. And this, realistically, is about when my interest in football was at its peak. I was about 15 when this was taking place. I don't think I'm going to be very good. Here we are then, in charge of Southampton. Now, I haven't gone through and changed all the kits and everything like that, so we're going to have current day kits, we're going to have current day badges and all that kind of stuff, but everything else is from the database from 2001. I don't even know a huge amount about it. I don't know whether they're just taken from, I guess, Championship Manager 01, 02. Maybe that's what they've done, but yeah, we are now in charge of Southampton. Oh, would you look at that? Our best 11 consists of Paul Jones in goal, Wayne Bridge, Klaus Lundekvam, Rory Delap as a centre-back. He wasn't a centre-back for us. Dan Petrescu, Anders Svensson, Matt Oakley, Mark Draper, Chris Marsden, Kevin Davies, and Marion Pahars as well as our striker. This could be interesting. James Ward-Prowse is not our captain. He's probably like 2 years old at this point. So as this is episode 1 of A Little Save, we need to take some time and take a look and take in our surroundings, basically. Let's take a look at the squad that we have to work with. We're going to hopefully play some games as well in this episode. So, our first team, Neil Moss and Paul Jones in goal. Paul Jones will be our number 1 goalkeeper, although he is 34 years old. He's getting on a bit, but he's pretty good. Defensively, we've got Jason Dodd, Klaus Lundekvam, who I don't think is, 3-star. He was better than 3-star, wasn't he? He's very good going forward. Fair enough. I'm expecting Lundekvam to be scoring some goals from corners. Francis Benali primarily as a centre-back. He's definitely a left-back. He's 32 years old. Rory Delap, as I said, he's apparently one of our best centre-backs. He is not very good, is he? He's not very good. We signed him as a midfielder, and I'm pretty sure when we signed him, he was our record transfer. £4 million is what we paid for Rory Delap at the time. That was our record transfer for far, far too long. Dan Petrescu, 33 years old. We have the youngster Wayne Bridge, who's very, very good. I think in 2001-2002, he might have won Young Player of the Season, or maybe the season before. So yeah, Bridge is going to be hopefully very important for us. Although Chelsea and Manchester United want him. That sounds familiar. Looking further up the pitch, we've got some very good youngsters and then some old players. Matt Oakley, 23 years old, 3.5-star current ability, only 23. Chris Marsden, 32 years old. He's not great, is he? He's not good. Mark Draper's 30. He's not bad. Mark Draper's actually not bad for a 30-year-old. That's okay. Imants Bladilis, who's rubbish. He was never good for Saints. I think he played once overall for Southampton, and he wasn't very good. However, his Latvian counterpart, Marion Pahars, is very good. I think he was 4th or 5th top goal scorer possibly that season, or maybe the season before. So yeah, Pahars, we're going to put a lot of basically we're going to try and get a lot of goals out of Pahars, and obviously Kevin Davis. Also, while we're talking about Marion Pahars, if you want to see me trying to build Latvia as a nation, inspired somewhat by Marion Pahars, I'm doing another save on this channel, which you can go and click the link up in the top right-hand corner now, because I'm going to be clever and hopefully put that in there. And then, yeah, hopefully you can watch me trying to build the nation of Latvia. Anyway, back to Southampton 20 years ago. We've also got James Beattie. We've got James Beattie, Marion Pahars, and Kevin Davis. We've got some options up front, and a 32-year-old Matthew Letizier as well, who he doesn't have his physical attributes very good. He never did. Let's be honest, he never did. I'm wondering whether he needs to be kind of the linchpin, like the Leo Messi. It's a weird thing to say, but like the Leo Messi, we just kind of have to find a place to put him in, because if we don't, we're going to lose out on basically all of his set-piece abilities, his corners, his free kicks, even simple things like passing and penalties and stuff like that. We need to kind of get Letizier into this squad. Moving into the under-23s, now, some of these players are real. Some of these players are real, as in Scott Bevan is a former Southampton goalkeeper. I don't know whether he played for us. Chris Baird. We're going to move some of these up to the first team as well, by the way. Chris Baird, Gary Monk, might need to be in the first team as well. Who else have we got? Ryan Ashford is real. Brett Poet is real. Kevin Gibbons is real. Is Darren Broxton real? Apparently. I've never heard of Darren Broxton, but apparently he's real. Jacinto Elar. Augustine Okocha. That's a JJ Okocha, but it's also not, is it? It's definitely not. He's not real. 17-year-old Australian Scott McDonald. He needs to be in the first team. Although I'm not sure we're ever going to use him, but he needs to be in the first team. Brian Howard, I think, might be all right for us. He's still 18 years old. Jay Lucas, he's not great, is he? Daniel Tialdi, I remember the name. I have no idea if they were any good or not. And also, in our under-18s, this is interesting. Because if we sort by age, we've got some 14-year-olds. Martin Craney and Andrew Sermon. Also, Eddie Obdihembo is a real player who I think is recently retired. I think he was playing for Oxford not too long ago. But Sermon, he's not very good, but he's 14. Same with Craney. He's not very good, but he's 14. Now, transfer budgets and things like that are a bit all over the place because everyone is getting paid a lot less than what they currently are in real life. So I think the Southampton highest earner is possibly, where are we going? That one, that's the wage. Kevin Davies, £20,000 a week. Pars is on 12.5. Some of the players, Matt Oakley's on £450. Lundekvarm, £825 a week. So a lot of players' salaries and ultimately their value as well is not great, which means for £1.5 million, that might go a fair distance. I haven't looked to see who we can get. I don't really know who we need. I think possibly a central defender we might need to sign. But yeah, that money might be able to go a little bit further than perhaps you'd expect it would. I've literally just gone onto the scouting page and the first player that turns up is a 20-year-old Scott Parker who's worth £18,000 and it's absolutely ridiculous. Let's try and do some negotiating. I know it says 18k, we'll offer him nothing. 27.5 million. Right, Scott Parker's not coming in, that's fair enough. Quentin Fortune is there. Klaus Jensen from Charlton. Craig Harrison, I've never heard of Craig Harrison. Is he any good? He's not bad sort of attacking left back, is he? And then we've got Rob Green at 21. I mean, he's not better than what we currently have, and because we're only going to do one season, we don't need a young goalkeeper, but that's interesting. Andres Ivanschitz, I mean, I remember him. When I was growing up, I remember him as like a really good hot prospect player, possibly even on one of the old Football Manager games or Championship Manager games. Players who might be interested in joining us then. So I don't know whether all of these players are from 2001, 2002, or whether some of them are going to be sprinkled in and they're more recent footballers. But obviously we can see the list. I know Daniel Biafoca, I think he played for Villa, if I remember correctly. I feel like he played for Aston Villa at some point. He's available. He's probably a little bit too expensive. All of the players on this list seem to be playing in Germany. Like, all of them. So far, I haven't really seen anybody outside of Germany on this list in terms of value. We've finally got Sixto Peralta, who's on loan at Ipswich. Okay, fair enough. 29-year-old Benito Carbone. He's getting paid a lot of money, so that's why he's got high value. I'm going to need to do a little bit of searching for some possible footballers. 22-year-old Carlos Bocanegra. That's interesting, right? I'm just looking through the list of players. Joseph Desire Job. I mean, he was rubbish. He was really bad, but he's still there. Noel Whelan. He's 26. Is he transferred? Oh, we don't need another striker. We've got 3. 22-year-old Damien Duff. We can stick him on the left wing. He actually might be quite interesting here. I'm interested. Because we have that, I'm not hopeful. What I'm going to say, 16 million. Right, so some players definitely don't want to be joining us, which is fair enough. I'm just looking at the list of some of the names that I'm spotting, and it is genuinely, it's a blast from the past, which obviously that would make sense. They're 20 years ago. A lot of these. Oh, Tony Yeboah. He's 35. He's too old. He's too old. We don't need him. Georgie Kincladze. Again, I don't think we need him. He's transfer listed. 250k for Kincladze. I mean, I'm interested. I don't know why I'm interested. If we're clever, we can do this in instalments. 100k up front and then 170 over a few seasons. I think that sounds like a good deal for me. Darius Vassell. All he is fast, although he does have finishing. He can finish. We don't need strikers. Stop looking at strikers. I'd quite like a centre-back. That's what I'm after. David May, transfer listed. David May is transfer listed for 120,000. He's 31. He's not that old, really. 31 nowadays is all right. I mean, I'm going to stick in an offer for David May. We're just going to get him for 115k. Hamilton Rickard. I mean, some of these names, I know I don't need him, he's a striker, but I'm just seeing some of these names going, that's amazing. It's the fact that Hamilton Rickard we can buy in Football Manager 21 is just amazing to me. I have no idea what ever happened to him. I'm also looking at old players as well, like Andy Impey. I remember Andy Impey. Do we need Andy? He's transfer listed for 160k. Andy Impey can do a job for us. I'm just filling out the squad now. Gerard Sibon. Again, he's another striker, but I'm liking Gerard Sibon. I feel like 16... We don't need free kicks. We don't need penalties or free kicks. We've got Matt Letizia. It's fine. Right, stop looking at strikers, Stuart. You don't need them. Oh, my word. He's here. He's still in the game. Peter Unlevu. Right, there is a weird backstory about me and Peter Unlevu, which has never been said on the internet. Back in possibly even Championship Manager 0102, I signed Peter Unlevu on an Arsenal save, and he was ridiculous. He scored something like 45 goals. I remember this vividly. So I have a weird soft spot for Peter Unlevu. He's not very good. Lots of people want him. I want to sign Peter Unlevu. We're doing it. I am seeing some quite interesting players as well in terms of like ages. So I'm seeing Jurgen Bopp, for example. I mean, he's a weird player to pick out, but Jurgen Bopp is 17 years old. There are some players like we have in our team who are 14 years old, which means they will have other players like that around the world. Now we need to try and think, people who are maybe 35, 36 right now in real life will be in this game somewhere. Shefki Kuki is available. He's only 24 and he's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous. We don't need him. He's a striker. Stop looking at strikers. Right, looking at the, I was going to say Championship, the English First Division. Obviously, quite a few of these teams aren't in this division at all anymore. Some of these teams don't even exist. For example, Wimbledon. Wimbledon are here. Who have they got? I mean, I'm just having a look. Having a look for names of people that I think might be quite interesting. There's a lot of wanted players. A hell of a lot of wanted players there. There's no one really that jumps out at me. At the moment, there's nobody really that jumps out. Is Vinnie Jones still playing at this point? I don't think he is. Was this the Serge Makofo era? Was this genuinely the Serge Makofo era? Or was this just before Serge Makofo existed? He doesn't seem to be here. Somebody who does exist is a 14-year-old Leo Messi. He is at Barcelona. He's literally just turned 14 as well. Can we sign him? A future prospect? It's going to cost £1.7 million. I mean, technically we could sign him. We're not going to, but he exists. Does Ronaldo exist? It's probably going to be the old, yeah, Fat Ronaldo. I mean, I feel bad calling him Fat Ronaldo, but, you know, he's not Cristiano Ronaldo. He's pretty good, isn't he? There is a 16-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo at Sporting. Right, okay, he's not, he doesn't care. He doesn't care for us. He's ridiculous. That's the wrong Ronaldo. Okay, I got confused. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo, if we can actually go back to him, he's all flair and natural fitness, isn't he? He can dribble, first touch, all flair and natural fitness. Not really a lot going on, but he is 16. Trying to think of players who've just retired. Robben, 17 years old at Groningen. Hello? Hello? Hold on. Something might be about to happen here. I mean, he's going to cost a lot, isn't he? He's going to cost £2.5 million. We can half that to 1.25. I'll give you 500 now, and then I will give you another 750. Is that? Are you going to go for this? Are you going to be okay with this? You actually are. Right, we might be signing Arjan Robben. Taking a look at some of the big teams around, I was going to say the world, I guess Europe. We'll have a look at some of the big teams around Europe. Bayern probably have got some very good footballers. I mean, they're all very expensive though, aren't they? I want to just look at players we can sign. They've got Owen Hargreaves here. He's 20. He's alright, isn't he? AC Milan have certainly got a very good team, haven't they? They have got a ridiculously good team. When you think Costa Curtis there, Maldini's there. They've got going forward Gattuso, Ambrosini. I feel like he was pretty good. He was absolutely ridiculous, apparently. Ambrosini. They've got Donati. Pirlo is there at 22 years old. Pirlo was there. I feel like this is doing him a disservice. I feel like he had a bit more to his game at 22 years old than just the ability to pass and take corners. 24-year-old Andrei Shevchenko. I need to stop looking at these players. We're not going to get any of these players, are we? You can't even search for 14-year-olds. You can't search for 14-year-olds. The lowest you can go is 15, which that's kind of annoying. Jason Punchin. Hello, how did I miss you? You're rubbish. Right, anyway, We've put in some bids. We've got some bids. David May, Andy Impey, Robin, Kinkladze and Peter Unlevu. The big five. That's what we're going to call them. The big five. Hopefully we'll get most of them, if not all of them, coming into the club. We've got plenty of people in the first team as well. For some reason, Joe Tessam doesn't have a contract. Feel like I should probably give him one before he gets stolen by somebody else. Right, he wants to be an important player. Fair enough. And, oh, this is a problem. Budgets. We haven't got a lot of wages. We might not be able to give you a new contract, Joe. Oh, I've just seen this as well. So, English transfer window. So, this was the season Veron went to Man United. Robbie Keane went from Inter Milan to Leeds. I mean, he's very good, isn't he? Frank Lampard as well, signing for Chelsea from West Ham. Let's have a quick look at this Leeds team, because this was when Leeds were good, right? This was when Leeds were one of the best teams in the country. Jonathan Woodgate, 21 years old. Michael Dewberry. He's expensive. We can't afford Dewberry. Somebody who I'd love to have is Ian Hart. But again, we don't need him. We've got Wayne Bridge. What am I on about? I could go through all of these squads and probably try and sign about 15 players from each one and never actually sign them because they won't want to join me. But there are so many names, like blast from the past names. Half of these, most of you watching will never remember. I'm just a weird person that remembers players like Steve Vickers and Colin Cooper at Middlesbrough. I don't know why. A 26-year-old Norberto Solano. He'd be great. He'd be absolutely great. We don't need him, but he'd be great for us. Oh, looking at the Spurs team as well. A transfer-listed 34-year-old Les Ferdinand. Hold on. I know we don't need him, but for 85k, we'll have Les Ferdinand in. Look at that Arsenal team. Look at that. I mean, they don't have a goalkeeper. They've got Richard Wright and Alex Manninger, which is a bit iffy. But Tony Adams and Sol Campbell at the back. Martin Keown's still there. Lauren Grimaldi was all right, wasn't he? Did he ever really play for Arsenal? He got a few games. You've got Patrick Vieira, Van Bronckhorst, Ray Parler at 28 years old, Perez, 24-year-old Lundberg. I mean, that will be a fun team to manage. If you want to play this database and you want a fun team, that's a fun team. A loan-listed Juan Pablo Angel. He doesn't have a work permit. It seems a bit strange. He is awaiting paperwork because he's been in England for 7,000 days. I feel like he hasn't. I feel like he hasn't been here that long. Anyway, we have spent far too long looking at transfers to try and strengthen our Southampton side. I am now going to go forward until the 13th of September. We're going to have a little introduction of the new signings. Hopefully there might be more than just the 5 that we've talked about. There might be less because we might not get any of those 5. And then we're going to play Liverpool. Cool. Of all the teams to start with, it's bloody Liverpool. Right, we'll be back in just a second. You can't write it, can you? You literally cannot write it. We have drawn Portsmouth in the League Cup. Second round. They are good, however. This is not Premier League versus League One. This is Premier League versus Premier League. No, it's not. It's actually Premier League versus First Division. We are still technically the better side. Do they even have players? They must have some players. They do have quite a lot of players. We also have signed ourselves some new players. There's a couple of issues I've noticed. This man has no name. He is a Serbian goalkeeper on loan from Charlton. I have no idea who he is. We have brought in 4 players so far. The transfer window, I think, is open because I don't think transfer windows were a thing back when, basically, 2001, 2002. We have signed Georgie Kinkladze, former Derby, Ajax and Manchester City attacking midfielder, winger. I just loved Georgie Kinkladze growing up, so the fact that I can now sign him and he's still reasonably good at only 28 years old, I'm happy with that. We've also spent £115,000 on David May because we didn't have too many centre-backs. Again, I think this is a decent signing. If I'm honest, I think this is a pretty good signing. He's in as a fringe player. He will probably be playing alongside Klaus Lundekvam. But yeah, David May's in. The final of the signings that you know of is Andy Impey. We didn't get Unlevu, we didn't get Robin. But yeah, Andy Impey has joined. I'm desperately clutching at straws as to trying to justify this, but versatility, I think that's what we're going to go with. He can play as a left back, right back, left winger, right winger. We've just got somebody who can play pretty much everywhere. And the big one, in my opinion, is Kolo Touré. We have signed him on loan from Arsenal. He's costing absolutely nothing. He's not great because he's only 20 years old, but he's good. I think he's probably good enough to get into our side. And I know what you're thinking. What about Yaya? He's an 18-year-old coach at ASEC Mimosas. I'm not sure whether Yaya Touré's set up properly. I feel like he probably should be at ASEC Mimosas, but probably as a player. We can't get him, obviously. So that's all the transfer business we've done. We've also sold Brian Howard, Imos Bladiles and Adrian Caceres. We've got good money for Howard and Caceres because I think they might have potential. Real life, no one really heard of either of them again. I think Brian Howard ended up going to Swindon, I think he played for. So he wasn't bad. He certainly wasn't sort of £500,000 worth of attacking midfielder. But yeah, we've cashed in a little bit. We've obviously also been playing some pre-season friendlies. I personally haven't been playing them. I hate playing pre-season friendlies. But we've lost against Lille. Bruno Cheroux with the goal in this one. We lost against St. Pauli 3-2. Delap and Pahars getting on the goals for us. We then beat Altona 5-0. It's 2 for Davies, 1 for Impey, 1 for Lundekvam, 1 for Svensson, 2-0 against Young Boys, which I think is actually a pretty decent result, and then a 2-2 draw against Vitesse. Scott McDonald scoring a late equaliser for us in this one. Liverpool then, we've still got like a week to go, so we'll come back for Liverpool. I basically wanted to come back because we drew Portsmouth in the League Cup. Let's go forward again. Right then, let's play Liverpool, shall we, at St Mary's Stadium, and this technically is the first ever competitive match at St Mary's Stadium because it was built in 2000-2001 and Southampton were notoriously garbage at the start of the season when we first started playing at St Mary's, so hopefully that's not how this save is going to go. What we're going to go for formation-wise is a 4-4-2 diamond. We've got a DLP, we've got an attacking midfielder as well. It is going to be Paul Jones in goal. Rory Delap will be playing as a right-back. Now, he never played as a right-back for Southampton, as far as I remember. He was a central midfielder, but we're playing him as a right-back because, basically, he's better than Jason Dodd. It's going to be Lundekvam and David May in the middle. Wayne Bridge will be the left-back. Dan Petrescu, again, never really played as a midfielder, but for some reason, he's a really good DLP on support playing in that role, so we're going to play him there, try and get the most out of him. Oakley and Svensson in the middle. Georgie Kinkladze makes his debut. Kelvin Davies and Kelvin. It's Kevin. I keep saying Kelvin because he was the goalkeeper we had a couple of years ago. Kevin Davies and Marion Pahars up front. On the bench, Neil Moss, Jason Dodd, Andy Impey's there, Beattie, Kolo Torre, Joe Tess and Mark Draper, Benali and Letizier also make it onto the bench. So, Liverpool then are going with Sander Vestergaard in goal, Carragher, Babel, Henshaw and Risa at the back, Biscan, McAllister, Gerrard, Barmby, Heskey and Fowler up front. Okay, Gerrard surely is like 7 years old. He is surely 7 years old in this save. I need to have a look. I need to take a look at Steven Gerrard because I feel like he might be a little bit too good. I think as well, they might have updated the database so the kits are correct for the year, but because I've got 3D kits for the normal save, it's going to look a bit odd. So the fans are going to be wearing the light blue. Oh, no, maybe not. Maybe they haven't bothered changing that. Liverpool are currently wearing light blue. We are obviously wearing our current season kit. And we're not seeing all the highlights because I haven't sorted this out. Gerrard is 21. Steven Gerrard is 21. I could have sworn he would have been like 15 at this point, but apparently he's 21. He's absolutely ridiculous as well. Anyway, right, let's play Liverpool, who are playing a nice and exciting 4-4-2 because it is 2001 and everybody played a 4-4-2. Heskey to Fowler. On the right-hand side is Biscan. Carragher's tried to find Nick Barmby. Lovely through ball. What a slide tackle this from David May, and what a save that is from Paul Jones. Biscan has this again. Wayne Bridges nicked it off him, lumps it upfield. Marion Pahars, the little Latvian, he's done something special there to get some space. Plays it across. Kevin Davies is there. Sander Vesterveld holds on to that one. I think I called him Sander Vestergaard earlier. It's Vesterveld. Sander Vesterveld. Oakley with a free kick. David May's there. Davies is there as well. It's off the post. Biscan actually knocks it off for a corner. We're looking good. We're actually looking pretty good. Kinkladze's going to take this corner. The little Georgian whips it in. It's cleared. Lundekvam's going to pick that one up though. I'm starting to think my highlights are a little bit too quick. We're going to slow them down because I can't talk that fast. Well, since the little bit of action early on in the half, the first half, has kind of petered out into nothing. Very little to speak of. I think we're doing all right, aren't we? We're doing all right. We are the underdogs. I'm going to say that. I'm going to keep sort of reiterating that. Delap's not playing too well as our right back. Do we bring on Jason Dodd? We do bring on Jason Dodd, even though he can't play as a wing back on attack because back when Jason Dodd was playing, that wasn't a thing. You were a full back. That's all you were. All of these fancy roles that we're trying to force players to play. Kevin Davies is playing as a false 9. What's a false 9? Kinkladze with a free kick. Whips it towards the back. Sander Vesterveld holds on to that one. I'm confused as to why Sander Vesterveld is their goalkeeper. They must have had somebody else at this point in time. They must have had a different keeper. But I've no idea who it could be. Pahars has this. Svensson, Kinkladze, through to Marian Pahars, takes a touch, and he really should have put that in. It is going to be 0-0. Dietmar Hamann has come on for Igor Biscan as well for Liverpool. Let's do ourselves another change. Pahars has missed a couple of sitters, hasn't he? We're going to do Beattie coming on for Marian Pahars, and then swap you to Ramshaw. Play Beattie as a false 9. Kevin Davies as a complete forward. I'm looking at Letizia as well. I want to bring him on for maybe the final 10-15 minutes. And we are now at that point. So Letizia for Kinkladze should just be a straight swap for the first game of the season. It's not been the most action-packed, but for a pretty good Liverpool side, I will take this. I will take a 0-0 draw against a pretty good Liverpool side. We've got a couple of minutes left to play. It is trickling away, 3 minutes of injury time. A 0-0 draw. I'll take that. I will absolutely take that. It's not exciting. It is certainly not exciting. We probably should have scored, so should Liverpool, judging by the XG numbers. But that's a point. That is a point more than I was expecting. Elsewhere, Newcastle put 6 goals past Middlesbrough and beat them 6-2. There's been some big scorelines. So, match week 1, Tottenham top, Newcastle second, Fulham third, Chelsea in 4th. Big boys who haven't really performed. I say haven't performed. Pretty much everyone's got draws. So Arsenal there with 1 point. We've also got Leeds with 1 point. Liverpool, Manchester United also with 1 point as well. So it's obviously it's week 1. I'm not sure what to expect. That is going to do it for episode 1. Episode 2, I'm going to go to the start of October and we're going to have Ipswich and Manchester United. Both of them away from home. So in between, we are going to play Portsmouth, Blackburn and Spurs. We'll come back for Ipswich and Manchester United. I don't know why I'm picking Man United because I feel like they're going to absolutely batter us, but it could be an interesting game. Thank you very much for watching the 2001-2002 Southampton series. If you're enjoying these videos, do please remember to hit the like button. If you are new to the channel and you're enjoying what you're seeing, do consider subscribing. I do plenty of other stuff as well. I've done saves with Arsenal, Borussia Dortmund. I've done a Southampton save in the beta as well of FM21. One of my big saves at the moment is a little team called Rupel Boom over in Belgium. I've been there for 10, maybe 11 seasons. And also, building a nation with Latvia, as I mentioned earlier on, that's kind of my little passion project, that building a nation save. It's hopefully going to be a good one. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Stick around for more FM21, and I'll see you in the next one.